Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. Welcome to the VIP Order Manager series here on Riverview Farms. So we're going ahead, we're waiting for strawberries and cereal. So the strawberries down here, we've got about 4,000 liters per silo because it's 8 pallets out here and they're 500 each. Plus we've got almost another 4,000 in storage, but we need 113,000. So while maybe I could get a load off here or there, right now I'm not really that worried about it. So I just spent a little bit of time this morning moving the seeds out of the way because I think I'm going to go ahead and use this space for something. I've got an idea after talking to some folks in town, but you'll have to wait. I promise I won't make you wait too long. Gotta wait about 5 months for the corn to be ready, which is the other part we need to start our cereal production. So we've got some time. As I said, I'm not going to make you wait too long. We'll see when things kind of play out appropriately, and I'll be back when I have something to share. The biggest thing right now is to keep the cows going so that I can start working on the slurry. So right now they've got a little bit of food left, but not much. So the TMR is my challenge. So I am going to collect up a little bit of hay so that I can keep things moving along for a bit. But in the interim, probably as I move things along, because I don't want the cows to run out of food, I'm going to need to also probably grab the TMR mixer and move it over. Or grab TMR and move it over. I have about 20,000 liters that have been produced at this point since we moved the last batch. So definitely quite a bit going on, but that is going to be a challenge, certainly, going forward. You've seen me wrestle with that quite a bit. It's just always something going on. I'm going to grab a little bit of this because I don't need as much as I normally have. So I've set my fill limiter a little bit less. But at this point, got what I want. We're going to take this over. But, you know, we may be needing to do some grass work. We haven't done that in a while. And I understand, I'm teasing you along. Those of you that are astute can probably think of what I'm targeting and what I'm trying to look for here. But overall, I've got a couple ideas to shake things up a bit on the farm, and I'm pretty excited about them. I'm hoping you'll find them as exciting as me. But right now, I'm getting really low on hay, so I just want to go ahead and get things in there, because it just grows, so if I end up having a problem, I'm not that worried about it. Alright, I am going to grab this out, and I'm going to go get some TMR, because when the clock turned here, I was already down to 2,500, so I think next hour they'll already be starting to run short. So I don't want that to happen if I can at all avoid it. So we're going to go up here, we're going to get what we can get. I'm hoping I can at least get a full trailer out. I'm not quite sure what production level we're at here. Obviously things are cranking away. Alright, so I've got a load here. So that will get me a bit of coverage, that's for sure. But this is a bit of a challenge to constantly be moving 22,000 liters, but it's what I can do with what I've got. So you can see here we've only got 52,000 liters of slurry. They're still not up to being fully productive, which again is why I wanted to make sure that they do not run out of food. So in the meantime, while things are running along here, I am going to go ahead and grab the mower, because as I said, I think it's time for some grass work. So I'm going to drop that weight here. I just noticed I have that on the front. So we will take care of that because we need the mower. So I've certainly been able to keep the barn moving. So I don't feel we have any issue with the amount of grass we can generate on the farm. I think we're okay with all of that. Alright, so I need to go ahead here and move this trailer out of the way. So I'm going to have them start working on mowing this grass. But obviously, to do that, I need to make sure there aren't obstructions. I think it's not going to have a problem with the honey, but it may. But I'm not really that worried about it, so not sure where I want this yet, but we'll leave it there for now. Again, the goal is just move it out of the way. And away this goes. Like, obviously we could do a little bit more if we did it ourselves, but it's one of those, like, it'd be good to get some work done ahead of time while things are operating, and then I can just make sure we're in good shape for everything else. So now I am going to go and get rid of the remainder of the hay off that field. I think I'm going to have to turn one of these fields into hay again, and maybe it'll just be this one, not sure. But the reality is, by the time I get the hay picked up off this field, there will be a pretty good dent in the mowing done on field 11. So, and then I can just start to figure out, I can probably go and start picking up the grass there. Ran a little bit off track. I was turning blindly into the tree there. But yeah, I am just trying to get myself set up, because I am definitely at the point where I can smell level 20 and I can feel how close we are. So I am just trying to find a way to get us there as a farm, as an endeavor, and for you, the YouTube audience, just to get us there and get this done. Because I'm ready for a new challenge or a new location to serve some VIPs, and I'm sure you are as well. Speaking of that, in case you've missed the last few episodes, I am looking for some feedback on the future of the VIP Order Manager series and what type of cadence mainly we're going to be looking at here. Do we want to move off at a set time? Do we want to move off at a set level? So I'm thinking 6 months is probably the shortest time frame that makes sense, given that this is a weekly series, because that would only give us 26 episodes as compared to where we are already with everything we have. But I don't know that that's going to get us that far. So part of it is, you know, maybe like once we see where we're at level 20, do we determine, well, level 10, level 15? Like, you know, we know where it took us at this point to get to level 15. And there's no guarantee that I can move at the same pace anywhere else, anything like that. So, I just realized what I did, and I don't know, but yeah, this'll work, but I'm gonna make a bit of a mess here, I think, because I want to be able to start picking up the grass once they're done mowing over there, which is partially why I'm letting them do what they're doing. So we're just gonna spread this out here, and then I will pick it up later when I need it with the forage wagon. It should be something that I can do without too much difficulty. I hope that proves to be true. What is happening here? Is he afraid? I don't understand. Alright, I'm thinking the fact that the honey patch, or the bee pallet dispatch, is in the field a bit. I think the Courseplay had a bit of a problem with it. Oh, I forgot. I didn't get the front mower lowered. Well, that's a sad state of affairs if I've ever seen one. Let's see what we can do about that here. So I think once I'm past, I should be able to have them keep going, and it should be able to do a bang-up job of getting things done. So the other thing I'm going to need, obviously, here is to windrow. But definitely like the fact that we've gotten rid of the walls around here, you know, and they kind of went away when we took away the cow pasture. So that was a nice thing. Obviously, it would be nice to do it at the other place, but getting rid of the cow pasture would be a bad idea. Because I need some cows. I just didn't need 2 sets of cows. Now again, for the amount of slurry that I need right now, maybe 2 sets of cows would have been nice, but that's alright. The yard was too constrained as it was, far too busy. But this is going to take a little bit, so I want to get this going, and then I'm going to move him over to field 12, which is why I wanted to get the hay picked up, because once again, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do over there. I just know I'm going to do something. And I think some of that will be determined by what I discover with my plan. But we're not there yet. But I just know I need more silage. So that is what I'm going to do, is get this material into the fermenting silo. So I'm going to do that work. I'm going to start getting all that done. So this is going to have to get windrowed. I'm going to start picking it up with the forage wagon and getting it in the fermenting silo. And to not make this exceptionally long with a bunch of grass work, I am going to leave you with that, and I will be back in a bit. So lots of grass work going on the farm. I've got the mower over here, as you can see. He's, let's see if we can catch him. There he is. So he's working away, doing a pretty good job getting most things completed. And then we've got another helper working over on the field over here, windrowing things as needed. I'm going to go ahead and just start collecting down here or around or whatever, and I may just leave that little bit on the edge. I don't really know. But the key here is the goal is to get stuff in and running with silage. So again, I don't think there's that much that's going on. There's a good amount, but it's not anything crazy. So we are getting a little late here. So we just do want to be careful that we can see. I think I'll be able to make that turn. So there we go. But yeah, the little bit of grass that isn't done, I just don't know that it's worth playing around. But the benefit and the reason I was kind of using the helpers is I can get a lot more done that way. And once again, at this point, it's certainly less the doing and more the completing and getting what the VIPs want taken care of. Because otherwise, we're just kind of waiting around, and I'm not sure that folks are looking for tons and tons of episodes of a bunch of mundane work that isn't getting any closer to being finished. So as I indicated, I'm going to keep working away, getting this done, because this is still going to take a bit of time, even with me doing what I'm doing, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so here we are, next to the TMR mixer. We're going to go ahead and turn it off. As you can see, there's a little bit left in here, but not much. So, a little bit quieter, but we got 15,000 of TMR in there. And you can see we're down to 17,000 already on the cows. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that and I'm going to bring it down here. This is a challenge every single time. Alright, so I've gone ahead, pivoted a bit. I'm getting the worker turning that into hay while I continue here, because I decided to go ahead and put a little bit more straw in, because that mineral feed is not inexpensive. I mean, we've got a good amount of money, yes, but the way we do well is by, doing what we need to do to get things done appropriately. It looks like it may be done now, but I'm going to start this dumping in here. No, it is still running, so at this point it may run out of silage and everything before it runs out of straw, which is fine, but it's hard to control what the straw does. So I'm going to keep working here, but just wanted to give you some added perspective of what is going on, because again, it's a busy day on the farm here, and definitely just trying to get that going. It just didn't look like the rollers were turning, but as I look closer I can see they are. It's probably hard to see on the video. I don't know that the resolution is that good. But yeah, I realized I need to turn this into hay, and then obviously I need to windrow it eventually and get it collected as well. So I wanted to keep making that progress. So I'm probably, in the meantime, maybe after the next batch, I'm going to go ahead and grab the windrower and get him over there, because I might be able to then be in pretty good shape to have a field of hay, which is what I'm going to need for the plans I am trying to put into place. But those plans will take place before the end of the day. So, as I said, I'm not going to keep you in suspense forever. There's other plans too that I've got, but those plans aren't going to be coming to fruition today. Probably not even in this episode, because there's just going to be enough work going on. It's not needed until a certain point. So we'll worry about the other ideas I have for improving things on the farm when the time comes. And it may not in this case, so we'll see. But I'm excited, because the suspense is killing you. I know it is. So I'll see you in a bit. So we are back. Just sitting over here on the wall, seeing how things are going. So I realize I need to get him out of the way, or we're going to have a problem. So we'll do that, and we'll put the tedder over here. But rather than do something in the middle of the night when it was dark and it was hard to see, there wasn't an extreme rush to do what I'm planning on doing. So I said, you know what, let's get a good night's sleep, and we'll all gather again in the morning. In the meantime, this worker's going to keep working on the hay. We're going to have the hay that we need to continue moving along. Because right now, we're down to 12,000. I've given them all the TMR I can. They are fully productive, so we've got a little bit of a time crunch here. So, with no further ado, as he goes around and keeps doing some do. That was a terrible joke attempted upon. It was just horrendous. I should have to pay a fine for disasters like that. So, what we are going to do, I've had enough of this. It's served us well, but getting in and out of there is crazy. And for the amount of stuff I'm going to need, when we go back here, we've only added like 20,000 liters of slurry for all that food. It's not good. We're down from 12 to 10. We better get going. So I am going to sell this back. We've used it for 93 months. Not quite 10 years. So it's been here a long time. So we have an open area. Now, I could go ahead and use it again. However, so we're going to go over here where I told you we were doing some work. And I have got this new TMR station here. This thing is big, as you can see. Almost, how do we want to line this up? What do you think? You know what, I probably don't need to put it back on the field. I have enough room here. Let me just go this way though, because I don't want to make things too tight. But I think if I do it something like that, it's going to give me a good space, and we should be okay here. So there we are. So yes, we've got a nice way in, and as you can see, it's got our favorite thing way up there. What a beautiful logo. But more importantly, think about how much easier this will be rather than backing into that thing, and the capacity this thing must have. It's probably a lot more than we need, but we needed more than we had. And at least it's not something monstrous, but I was really happy to come across this the other day. And yeah, we've still got room here to drive around, so this now really builds out. Like, having that cow barn gone has given us a lot of capability here. So, really good stuff. So we're still good because we're not at 8 o'clock. But now what we need to do is start filling this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go grab the big trailer that we use to move our material. And we're going to come grab some silage. I've already gone ahead and put some mineral feed in, so hay's in good shape. So we're going to need to collect that live because we don't have any. But I still need to get everything else loaded up. So let's see how this works. So I got a little under 10,000 liters of mineral feed. I should have had more than that. I don't understand. Because I got 10 pallets, and I think it's 1,000 liters per pallet, but it's telling me there's only 9,450 in there, so maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it was like 950 or something per pallet. Whatever it is, we have some mineral feed in there. That's the biggest thing. So that's the drop we see of a good amount of our funds. Then we'll get silage. We've got some straw. We've got this hay we can pick up actually, so I'll actually be able to do that right away. I forget how much we had in there. So while that's filling, oh, but this is the same tractor. Never mind. So the biggest challenge we're going to have here is keeping this full, depending on how quick everything else runs. Now, at the end of the day, the thing that's the most important is how fast the cows eat stuff. So we're still not at 8. So we haven't had them take any more, but we know it's about 1,500 or at most like 2,000 something probably each hour. You know, but that was the challenge, is I think the 44,000 that we could get out of that TMR mixer got us maybe a day and a half or something. So it was really something we had to keep up with at a crazy pace. But our first load is going in here, so let's see. I mean, this was not inexpensive. It was almost 100,000 for them to construct this, but got enough room so we can get this done. Get 40,000 liters of silage, and think about it, we could only get 18,000 liters in the other one of silage, so it looks like we're hitting the roof there. Ooh, we're bouncing around, but we're good. 40,000 liters of silage, we're still in the red. So just think about the capabilities that this gives our farm here. Alright, it looks like our worker has finished the hay. Now, I could go ahead, and probably will. Let me take a look and see how bad things are. Cows are still at 8,000, so it's 2,000 or so each time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab another full load of silage. I don't necessarily need to move partials, so we're not that desperate for things. But this is a little bit more, because the forage wagon only does about 35,000 liters. So this is 40. You know, there's a possibility we could decide that we want something even larger. Because if we're just moving stuff around on the farm, we don't have to worry about the roads, other than things getting there to begin with. But we can always have the neighbors help out and stuff if we need to maybe get the roads blocked to be able to do things a little bit easier and get things here. But yeah, I'll be able to, I might even be able to grab another load, which would be crazy. But if I'm just trying to understand the capacity I need, that would be an important thing to ascertain. Because I would say maybe I'm at 20%, but I'm not sure. I might only be at 10. It wouldn't be strange of me to think that that could take, maybe that can take 500,000 liters of silage or something. It's also nice to be able to drive out of here and not have anything blocking the way. That building stuck out a bit. Like, you know, I mean, it's still a little tight here. I mean, we are in England and we don't have these giant farmland spaces like we do back in the US, but when I decided to take the farm from my uncle and take him up on the offer, like, I understood that was part of the challenge and part of the fun here. Was just seeing what we could do. Let's see if I'm a little bit further. I think I'm still going to get stuck, but I wonder if I can dump a different way. Doesn't seem to give me any other option, because I'm sure we're going to start jumping around again, but it doesn't happen for too long. So 80,000, yeah, it might be close to 400,000. You know, because the challenge is I have 10,000 liters, and it's only going to take 20 liters of mineral feed for 360. So I really have like almost an 18 times ratio to not to kind of keep up. Now, once again, I mean, I only have so much silage, but I can absolutely do this because this 12,000 to the 10,000 is still only a 12 times ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and get another one of those. And then I am going to go ahead and pick up the hay and get some straw over there. So I'm basically going to try to load this thing up. I do have to be careful with the straw because don't forget, I've got a need from my VIPs that I've got to service as well. But we should be able to get a good amount over because we have 374,000, so that's going to be, you know, those bales I think were 11,000 each. So it's not going to take, you know, it's going to take like 35 bales or something. So if I'm careful and just make sure I leave about that many, and then we have to gather more straw off a field, you know, we'll worry about that at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and do this work, and I'll see you in a bit. So this should be plenty because it uses less straw than it does the other things. It's like 120 straw, so it's like a third of the straw to the silage and the hay. So right now the hay is going to be the worst thing because I've only got one load of 35,000 in there. But once again, that's nearly double what I would have when that other TMR mixer was entirely full. So good news is it's only 9 o'clock. So cows still have not run out of TMR, so we've got a little bit of time for this to start generating some stuff. So this should just take it in. I might have to unstrap it, but I think, yeah, there we go. It's going away. It's just obviously taking it in batches. So if I look at this and I activate it, there we go. So we've already got 6 liters and 110. So you get the idea. It runs 384 cycles. I don't remember how many cycles the other one ran, but we know that its capacity was 44,000 liters. We're going to get more than that from here. The recipe's the same, but you know, you can see we're going to get 920 from the level that we're talking about, or you know, from one cycle basically. But per month it has 384 of those, so that's in one day how that divides it up. So at this point, we've done one of those 384 cycles. And the important thing is, like, the cows haven't done anything yet. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Yeah, we've got a good amount of straw. So I think we're okay. We're going to leave the straw alone, because I'm just going to have to worry about other things. So, you know, this might be something that I don't do a lot, show a lot of. Probably, I don't know what I'll do. If I'll get more straw before I run strawberries over. At this point, I'm just trying to move this out of the way so that I can go get the other wagon. Because the other thing we can do, we've got one other piece now that we can take care of. And that is, we don't need that TMR mixer anymore. So if I go here to animals, I can sell this. So that more than makes up for the mineral feed we just put in. You know, and I've got nothing here, but I can get him out of the way. Because at this point, then, we're going to come in here with a different trailer. So I'm going to go put him somewhere for now, because I don't need him right now. I got all these barns that I can park stuff in, so this is as good a spotted as any. We'll get it off the path here, and then maybe, you know, we'll use him for something else. But now I can take him and get the big 40,000 liter trailer. There it is. I'm like, I know it's up here. So there's more room to park stuff, obviously. I just left that there, and it works so well I didn't even see it when I came up the hill. We've got a good amount of trees here on the farm, so it all works out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we got 35 bales there. I think I counted in excess of 50, and all we did was use 5 right now. And if we need to get more, like once this is running for a bit, we'll at least know what's happening. But what I can do is I can just go park this underneath the output right now, and I'll probably have to run something over in the next few hours, because obviously I think we're going to be down to 3,000 and something later, but you can see the output is there. So if we exit here, you can see it's just going to dump right in from up there. So pretty happy with this buy. What do you think? So there you go. Look at that TMR just go. It's just cranking stuff out. And it's so much quieter. Like, remember when we were standing next to that TMR mixer and I'm like, oh, I need to turn it off because it can't even do anything anymore? It's like changed the entire acoustic atmosphere of my farm. I bet that's not a phrase you've never heard with farming before. But that's how big a deal what we did is. We get to use big words on the farm. Alright, so it's at 3403. I'm going to be able to let it go another hour, and we should be okay. Now the other thing we have going on that I need to check as I stare at these is this barn, yeah, has a huge capacity that we're not even scratching the surface of, which is why we got rid of everything else. So I think, if I remember, I think we just started with 10. So we've had 15 generations, so we may have started with, it seemed like we started with 30, but there aren't, I don't know that, because these are beef, so maybe we started with 20. As long as I keep them fed, that's the other important thing to getting more cows. Because at this point, if I had 1,000 cows, the slurry would be flowing, that's for sure. A couple more months, I think we're going to get another batch, but if I can keep these guys full, we'll be in good shape. Alright, so we have 23,000 liters in a couple hours. Now again, it's going to cost us $240. You know, the stave silo's running a bit. You know, there's definitely money coming out of the farm. But at this point, you know, we're going to get more than half of this trailer in TMR, and I'm going to be able to, now again, this 23,000 is not much larger than what I had. I don't know that this actually dispenses any faster either, so it takes a little bit of time here, that's for sure. But it's producing, so we might get over 24 by the time we're done. There we go. Since it's making it so fast. And it's okay if it chews up a bunch. Like I said, was saying at the beginning, the deciding factor is really going to be the cows. But if the cows are eating like 2,000 an hour, I need a lot. So that was part of why it also didn't work, because there's not a way to really stop them from reproducing. I mean, other than not feeding them, which also makes them cease being productive. So just not things you want to do. So I'm going to have the same challenge here, that I don't think there's clearance here for this thing to open. But it'll do what it'll do. We'll get this poured in. There you go. It's going to tip sideways and then eventually come back down. Hopefully I won't get into trouble there. But now, you know, we're in decent shape. And so I can, again, go put this over there, and I assure you that by the time I need it again, because at this point, that should get me about at least 10 hours. So maybe before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to need to bring more feed over. But, you know, the real question is going to start to be, can I generate enough grass for the cows I have eventually off of the fields I have, or do I need to revisit that? But the real driver here is that slurry order that we have that we're going to need to fulfill at some point to get everything done. So at this point, I am going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. I think we ended on a pretty exciting note if you think about just the capabilities we've added to our farm. I'm just super excited. And I think this is a really slick looking facility too. I just like the tanks and the nice stonework, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's just well designed. It looks good. Where again, we used the other TMR mixer for nearly a decade. I mean, again, it's served us well, but we have outgrown that. We've outgrown a lot of things on this farm, and some things we can't change because we're here in jolly old England and we just can't move around with bigger equipment. You know, so there's some limits, but in this case, we had space on the farm, and I decided to go ahead and act on it because we had the funds too. I mean, it's one thing to buy that TMR mixer when we're struggling for cash, but we have 3.5 million pounds just about at this point. And, you know, we'll definitely get up there again. Right now we're waiting for all the strawberries. So before I sign off, let's just take a peek over there of where things stand. So there you go. We've got 6,500 in there plus what is out here. So I have more than enough to start shipping some strawberries, which we will do in the next episode. But for now, I will see you next time.